Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Linfield Coaches CatChat. Joe Stewart here with head Linfield football coach Joseph Smith. Coach, let's get right into your big win this weekend at home against PLU, 45-0. In fact, it was tied for the largest margin of victory in the series history. Pretty impressive when you consider how many times the two teams have met up. The defense was utterly dominant, holding PLU to 114 total yards, no first downs in the first half. And that was without the guy who many times is the best player on the field, in Travis Swanson. What did you see that led to that type of domination on Saturday?
Well, one, that's surprising. It's the largest margin of victory. That's interesting. But, I think any time you shut anybody out, like I told our team after the game, whether it's an 8th grade team or a college varsity team, it's hard. I mean, it's an accomplishment. So I'm very proud of every phase, not putting defense in a tough position, not giving a cheap up, score here or there or a safety or whatever it might be. So, I was just very pleased with our whole team effort. I thought the field position was good. I thought the special teams played well, and that all plays into, how a defense is doing now. The wind was a factor. That certainly was an issue early on, and they were going against the wind, and as soon as we got a couple quick 3-and-outs, it was looking tough for them because they just they couldn't get the ball out of that part of the field, and so I think all those factors played a role. But the bottom line is our defense just played really well. They executed at a high level. They won the one-on-one blocks up front, and we had very few assignment mistakes in the back row, and we had a good plan. Coach Vaughn, Coach Rombach, Coach Lyons, they put together a very, very fine plan, and certainly you could see their quarterback a little uneasy, throughout the game, and when he made mistakes, the defense made him pay.
Yeah, big time, especially Chance Sparks and Evan Fizzette coming with 2 huge plays, a pair of pick sixes, first defensive touchdowns of the year for you guys. But you got good performances off the bench in the secondary, too. Cutter Hillock, Jet Searle, Johnny Miller all had good games. What have you seen? We talked about it just a couple weeks ago, but the growth trajectory for that defensive backfield that is starting to look really complete and not like it has a whole lot of holes in it.
Well, they've been working really hard. They don't like hearing, they got to get better. No one likes to hear that, even though we all do, we all still have to get better. But, I know our secondary coaches, have been working really hard at just some basic fundamental movement patterns, and you just can't. It's difficult to play that position. It's difficult probably to play every position, but we have some really young, experiential players in that spot that literally haven't been playing that spot. They moved over from other positions, and so I think those guys take extra time just with the basic techniques, and as their comfort level increases, and I think that's truly a factor of repetitions and game snaps. You can do all you want in practice, but when it really matters, if you get beat deep or not, and there's 7 points, and that train horn's going to sound, or cowbell's going to ring, or whatever it is, it's a whole different deal. So I think it's game snaps that really matter, and I think as they continue to log those, you'll see that group get better and better because there is a lot of talent there.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive just to see them trend in the right direction week after week. Okay, so switching gears to the offense, we talked about it going into this game, but that was a defense that had been playing really well this season, had pretty much a couple of elite games this season, but able to move the ball really well. And Blake Eaton ends up having his most efficient day of the season, completion percentage-wise. Again, the running backs all looked good. The wide receivers did their thing. Colton Smith, 11 catches. What led to being able to move the ball so well against such a tough, really defensive front, especially, and an experienced secondary?
Yeah, I agree. We were concerned going in. Just the chances for negative plays were quite high with that group, and I feel like that's what that defense had sort of counted on and lived on was tackle for losses, assignment mistakes, sacks. All those lead to interceptions, fumbles, all that, and you even saw that in our game. They had a sack fumble on us, and so just really trying to be solid up front and from a schematic standpoint and a physical standpoint, being pure in our blocking and that's what won the game. I mean, we did well because our O-line played great. All the other guys did their jobs. I didn't really worry about winning matchups on the outside, for instance, or the running backs. We just needed to keep a clean pocket and give Blake some throwing lanes and some time, and it would work out. And I think that's what you saw play out. The O-line played awesome, and they deserve all the credit.
Yeah, it was, again, just another group that we knew that they were going to be good coming into the year, but they've really put together, seem to be hitting their stride at this point of the year. But you did have a little bit of a trouble moving the ball in the second half. Not maybe moving, but getting across the goal line. Certainly when you score 38 points in the first half, you can take your foot off the gas a little bit, and there were also plenty of second, third-string guys out there throughout that second half. But were you concerned at all about no offensive scores in the second half?
Well, not really. I think we pulled our guys and could have scored if we wanted, So, no, I thought the offense played very, very well. Very pleased with that. I thought Blake had one of his best games, not just statistically. A lot of times guys look at that, but I usually don't. I look more at how many plays we thought he had a good read on and how his mechanics were, etc. And I thought he played really well, very gritty. He and the O-line, I thought, played great. So that bodes well. I thought that was a difficult defense, schematically mostly, and it's good for us to get through that because I think that'll pay dividends down the road.
With a game like this where everybody looks so sharp on both sides of the ball, does it seem like the team is really starting to hit their stride now with 3 weeks left in the season? And those last couple games on the road, we had talked about it, there were moments where the team didn't look their sharpest. Do you think that it's starting to hit a point now where things are really going to click this last few weeks of the season?
Well, I think, I don't know, I mean, sure, I'd like to say that. I think without doubt that was one of our better collective games, as I told our staff. I thought we played very well as a team, and we're pretty locked in, and some of that's just a function of competitiveness, and we wanted to play a good opponent. We got a good opponent, and we were pretty locked in. So some of the other games where I feel like we've had some lapses, we have got caught up in other things, or sometimes frustration sets in. It's very difficult to be in a position that we often are, where you're having to manufacture stress, really being self-referent, and I'm proud of our guys for doing that. But it's much easier said than done, and proud of our guys for doing that.
Coming up this weekend at George Fox, another tough team on the road. Get a lot of those this year. But George Fox is a team that has certainly been right there, hanging in that top third of the conference last few years. Usually it's been on the strength of their defense. This year they've really seemed to found something with their passing attack, one of the more established attacks with second-year starter Hayden Shawn under center. And they've had a lot of success with their 6'5" receiver, Leon Johnson. What do you guys have to do to get them out of their comfort zone at their place and disrupt that passing attack?
Well, the more we can hit them and sack them will help. Obviously that's how you get a quarterback out of their comfort zone is put them on the ground and change coverages where they don't know what coverage it is. So if we could do that, great. I'd take that every day. But I think it starts with the same every week. You got to stop the run and get them behind the chains, and then we got to make sure that it's not an easy catch and throw to whoever his target happens to be. But no, I think Leon Johnson's playing very well. He's a very fine player, and I think their quarterback's a good player, and I'm really impressed with George Fox. I really am. I think Coach Casey does a fine job there. He's a hell of a coach, and we're looking forward to playing it.
Once again, Wildcats at George Fox this weekend in Newburgh, 1:30 kickoff, and we've been traveling pretty well this year. It feels like Newburgh should be one that we're able to get some good Wildcat fans there. Coach, thanks for the time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.